Out Bergoya, side retired. And a 2-2. Ground ball back toward the middle. Farquhar, long run. Backhand behind the bag. Jump throw back to first. In time they got him. What a play. Trent Farquhar.
Let's go. Want to get a couple of sponsor shout outs here off the bat. First and foremost, we got a couple new ones. I want to give a shout here to Camwood Bats, doing big things. Lizard Skins is another big one. Bella Pizza. I can't wear all these hats at once, guys. So, I'm just going to come up here. Howie's Hockey Tape and Heart of the Home, one of my latest sponsors for all kitchen and bathroom remodeling. They're absolutely phenomenal. I'll put links on this stuff. Today I have Trent Farquhar. Very excited to have Trent with me.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking the time, and I know you're busy and just getting in spring training.
Likewise. No, I'm excited. We did have a chance to bump into each other. Man, was it windy and miserable that day? You guys ended up playing, right?
Yeah, we played an inter squad that morning.
I heard you lump them up pretty good.
We didn't. So I didn't actually play. We inter squatted against ourselves, but then
okay.
I didn't play against the Tigers that day. But
right.
From what I heard, yeah, that we did well.
Yeah, you beat up the Tigers pretty good. I had McDonald on, who's a friend of yours.
Yeah, great dude.
Michigan guys, man, and he spoke very highly, and he was actually like, encouraging, man, like, you got to get Trent on. I mean, there's certain people that you meet and, they just kind of leave an impression on you. And I think with sports and the world of sports, there's all different types of personalities, man, that you got to kind of weed through. So to have all the positive stuff being said about you, honestly, is a huge compliment, man, in a business. And it is a business, that's really cutthroat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would they be saying the same thing if they were all jockeying for your job? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not.
But man, you're a utility guy, dude. You kind of play everywhere in the field. And I think when we spoke briefly, you said the reason for that was, kind of, hey, if I'm going to make this and I'm going to make this work, I'm going to be the best I possibly can be anywhere I can be. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they tell me to catch, I'll go catch. They tell me to get on the mound, like, I'd love to pitch. But yeah, mostly just utility around the infield. Haven't played any outfield or anything like that, although I'd love to someday maybe. But yeah, whatever way it gets me on the field into the big leagues is the best way I want to do it.
And I love hearing that. It's a humble way to describe the way you want to play the game. You're not coming out saying, I'm the best third baseman there is. I'm the second, I'm untouchable at short. You're saying, listen, I can do it all. I'm pretty well versed at all of it. Give me a shot and let me prove myself. I've seen some of your defensive videos. I've seen, some of the stuff that's out there, man. And you do have an ability to turn plays that, how do you pull this stuff off? Is this just constant training, just grinding? There's something tells me you're a hard worker.
Yeah, no, I mean, the physical part definitely helps. Obviously, got to have somewhat good genetics. My dad played Division I college baseball versus Detroit. My cousin is actually in the Phillies organization as well. He's a pitcher.
Okay.
I got a younger brother who's at Michigan State. So we got a pretty good lineage of baseball players going. But honestly, most of it's just God gifted, and just really wanted to honor him with the abilities he has given me. So each day I take the field, I try and do the fundamentals the best I can, do the boring stuff the best I can, so that, when you do see those videos and stuff like that, it might surprise some people, but in reality, I'm just working on it every single day and just trying to get outs for my pitchers.
And I know you're a religious guy, and, I love it. I know, people, you got the crosses and this and that. Any little thing I think that you can do to kind of just maybe not remind everybody or remind yourself, but just really you want to get it out there. Like, this is your faith and, you're proud of it, and you feel like a lot of this, like you had said, God-given, and you're grateful for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being a professional baseball player is awesome, but I know I'm not going to be a professional baseball player my whole life and for eternity. So it's great now and I'm going to enjoy it for sure. But knowing in reality that I'm going to be in heaven with Jesus Christ at the end of the day is so fulfilling and so rewarding. And I think that's what allows me to just enjoy playing this game, because obviously a lot of us know, like, it's a very hard game and there's going to be a lot of failure and stuff like that. But just knowing at the end of the day, like, it's going to be all right. Like, I'm going to enjoy this. And yeah, like I said, the abilities that I have, some of them are trained, but honestly, without the work ethic that the Lord gave me, I wouldn't be kind of where I am today. Because not many people that are 5'7", 180 pounds are getting an opportunity to play, let alone doing it. So I'm just super thankful for the opportunity and just love playing the game.
Let's talk about Bowling Green, COVID year, and moving on to Michigan State, man. I think what is relevant and what I dig about that whole situation is you didn't do too well. Let's not blame it on anything else. There's no size, there's no coach. You just weren't playing well. You weren't playing good baseball, and you were capable of more. What's crazy is moving on to a school like Michigan State, where it almost, if anyone's outside looking in, it would be like he struggled at Michigan State, but then went and prevailed at Bowling Green. And it's the polar opposite. Did you kind of take in the challenge, and was that a factor at all?
So yeah, that whole year, obviously COVID was difficult for many reasons, but yeah, in the baseball sense, it was the first time that I ever failed at the game. Yeah, Bowling Green, I was fortunate enough to start like 11 of 13 games as a freshman. I actually got hit in the face my very first game with a ground ball and had to come out. So that was cool.
First game.
Very first college game.
Knock any teeth out or anything?
No, actually somehow didn't break my orbital bone in my eye. The program ended up getting cut actually. In COVID. Yeah. So I'll take you through the story, but obviously we're back home. The season got canceled, stuff like that. So we just have like Zoom meetings occasionally. In May, this is like the week after our finals week is done. We had an unexpected Zoom with like our athletic director.
Right.
And he informed us that they'd be cutting the program. So they cut the program. At that time, I had committed to Michigan State, and I had the opportunity to come back, but I just felt like I was led to go to Michigan State. And yeah, like you're saying, like didn't have good stats, nothing like that. Went to play summer ball. I think I hit $160 in the Northwoods League, in the pod. So honestly, like when I got to Michigan State in the fall, it was kind of like a refresher. Like, okay, brand new start, like new team, new coaches, stuff like that.
Fresh start, a new lease on things.
Yes, and ended up having a good fall. I actually did not play the first weekend at Michigan State. I think I came in as a defensive replacement for one game in the first weekend because it was a Big Ten only schedule that year because of the previous year of COVID.
Okay, yeah.
And then the following weekend, I got a pinch hit, got a hit, and then the next game got another pinch hit. So I started. And then from then on, I started every game at second base or shortstop at Michigan State. So it was a pretty crazy year.
After state and you knew you were going to be moving on, did you have an agent at that point?
Yeah, towards the end of my tenure at Michigan State, I got an advisor, and then obviously then kind of turns into your agent when you sign and stuff like that. So
were you expecting to get drafted at that point? Or was it like, there's sometimes people say, yeah, man, I was really disappointed. I was looking to get drafted. Or like, you know what? It didn't bother me because it was, hey, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Were you expecting to get drafted?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it was.
Okay. And I like the honest answer. I like the transparency,
Yeah, so I had a good year, stuff like that. I got the questionnaires and whatnot. And I had met with 2 or 3 scouts before whatever.
Things were sniffing around.
I was like, I had a good year at Michigan State. So I was like, this is definitely a real possibility. And I actually got a call on day 3 from the Cardinals, but nothing came of it. So yeah, I mean, it was all definitely real and devastated that it didn't happen. But honestly, like I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but it was honestly the Lord's plan for me to end up with the Phillies and
100%
go that way.
Listen, I've said this to so many of my guests. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
For a reason, man. I'm a huge karma guy. I'm just a believer in that stuff. And call it God's plan, call it divine intervention, call it manifesting where you're supposed to be, but you're where you're supposed to be right now, man. And, to be quite honest, say you're drafted in the 17th round, maybe there's a 50 or 100K signing bonus. That would be your major difference there. You were signed right away, 2 days after the draft?
Yeah, 2 days after. Yep.
So, and not to sound like, obviously money's money. We could all use, money. I get the disappointment for sure, especially because you did have a good season and you were kind of outstanding, defensively. It was kind of one of those things where I think most people had seen, numbers or tape or whatever, probably said, yeah, this kid will get drafted, And then I read the stupid articles and I've read, I do a little bit of research, man. I don't shoot don't shoot from the hip with everything. I'm pretty raw, to be honest. I don't like to do a whole lot because I like to get to know you. I like to treat the show like we're hanging out at a bar or whatever. It's all the same things. Oh, his height. That's all I read. And it's just after a while it starts to bug me. I'm not you. I got nothing to do with it. It starts to bug me, man. Do you have kind of a show and prove attitude? Do you want now not a axe to grind, but do you want to go out and prove, hey man, somebody should have drafted me?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always motivation. And honestly, more so than that, I want to prove that the Phillies were right. I'd rather
I like
prove
that. I like that.
that they took a waiver on me and prove that they saw something that maybe other people didn't. So
I
more so
love
want
that, dude.
them than the other people.
Take that negative and spin it. You could say, yeah, I want to go get the teams that passed on me. Like I'm going to go, you always hear stories about, oh yeah, the Cardinals passed on him. And every time he plays the Cardinals, he knocks them for a home run or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love that spin and saying, yeah, man, I want to reward the Phillies because they did take a shot on me. How's spring training been going? I mean, as far as, feedback from coaches, or how do you feel you're performing?
Good.
Well, we're winding down now, right? I mean,
Yeah. We're in the last week right now. I believe our last day of camp is Friday. So we'll leave for the affiliates on Saturday. From what I've heard, like it's been good feedback. Body's feeling really good. I feel like my swing's in a good spot. Defensively, arms feeling a lot stronger than last year. That was a big focus of mine this offseason.
okay.
Even though like I've had some success and some failure, honestly, a ton of learning. I've been grateful to have. I went over to about 7 or 8 big league games. I got to back up, so I got to kind of pick some brains there and see how those guys go about their business. So honestly, it's been a spring training full of learning, and it's been great.
And the fact that you're able to absorb it all like a sponge, is phenomenal, man. And those are the guys who are going to make it, the guys who can see and learn from other people.
So last year was crazy too. So I started in low A, was doing well, and then I actually broke my hamate bone.
I don't even know where that is. Where is that?
I don't know if you can see it. There's a little scar right here. It's like right down in here. This part sits like right on the knob.
Okay.
And honestly, it's pretty
right on the knob of the bat.
Yeah, it's a pretty frequent baseball injury for sure.
Okay.
So I actually broke that in beginning of May, and then so I was out for 7 weeks.
Okay.
And I came back after the All-Star break, and I went actually straight from rehab into high A. So I got promoted to high A there.
Not bad, man. Get hurt again. Maybe they'll send you to triple.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I went to high A, and then for the last week, I got moved up to double A.
Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of a crazy year, but it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot last year.
A lot of moving around, and that's just part of baseball. That's just going to be it. And for a lot of people who don't know and they're not familiar with farm systems and all the different levels, even from Cape Cod leagues to Pacific to the A, high A, whatever, you're on the move a lot, man. And it's not always an easy lifestyle. It's people, obviously they see the stardom and they think everybody's living the life of Ohtani or something. When you're grinding and you're trying to get up there, man, it's tough. I'm sure there's times where you miss the family and you miss kind of just being a normal, for lack of, a normal dude, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, there'll be times when you're grinding it out in July and maybe you're not having a great week, and then you see your friends out on the boat and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
That sounds pretty good right now. But no, I mean, that's part of it. That's just part of loving the game. But yeah, you're right. Like the long bus rides, I will say they do treat us very well. I mean, especially with the new CBA stuff, like I can only imagine what the minor leaguers before the CBA were doing, living 6 dudes to a house with like 2 beds. So those guys are real grinders.
Yeah, they made some big changes. Well, and I know some guys who've been AAA guys their whole life, not even bouncing around, just finally got to AAA where they're comfortable, right? And just stayed there. And to me, and I don't want to sound any kind of way saying this, but I wouldn't do it. I mean, like to me personally, right? Like if say Trent's 28 years old, you're playing trip, great, and then you're 34 years old and you're playing trip. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna kind of know when there's a time like, okay, maybe I should just go start coaching or do a clinic or something like that. And some guys just really, really want to hold on to it, man. And I get it. Maybe it's for that one shot to get called, right? I think maybe that's just the way they look at it. They want one trip up.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on where you're at with your family. Are you having kids and stuff like that? But yeah, my dad always tells me play until as long as you can and play until somebody tells you can't. Once I get to that point, you kind of have to reevaluate and see what's what, see if it's beneficial or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm gonna play until the wheels fall off.
It's motivational even if you don't want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I mean, obviously I want to inspire the next generation of people, and I obviously just want to grow the game like everybody else. So any way they can do it, whether it's through your channel, through ESPN, for whatever, like it's just awesome that kids get to listen to this and see the behind the scenes. Not obviously a lot of the times they see us on the field in uniform and stuff like that, but don't really see that day-to-day grind or what we're kind of thinking and whatnot. So it's great that you create a platform like that to be able to do that and kids be able to see it.
Yeah. How does it feel when somebody walks up and asks for an autograph?
It's awesome. It's awesome. It definitely doesn't get old. I know like a lot of it's like there's so many people, so like I feel bad when I have to like say like, oh, I gotta go, guys, but like at some point I gotta cut it off. But it's awesome.
Listen,
Like
you could sit inside. They'll just keep coming, man. It's like they're gremlins and they multiply, right? Like when you're over
yes,
there signing it, you know?
they're bringing like two or three things to you each,
Yeah.
and then it's like no, it's great because I was one of those kids too. Like I
Yep.
loved
Yep.
being around those guys, so like I completely get it, completely understand where they're coming from.
I forgot who it was I was talking to recently. It was a few, interviews ago, and we were kind of talking about the older guys who come up with the binders. And I'm like, you know what? One of them one day pushed my kid out of the way, and I almost had to drop the gloves with him. You got the Detroit style pizza. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on it, and what are your favorite? I'm going to kind of go. We're going to go Chicago deep dish. We're going to go the Detroit, whatever you guys want to call that. It's like some kind of tray. Is it in a tray?
Yeah, the Detroit deep dish. Yeah.
It's in like a foil tray where you got the
Yep.
Chicago deep dish is like a pie, right? And
Right.
then Buffalo has like a real kind of doughy type pizza with the real burnt pepperonis, and then you got your New York City big old slices. Which
Right.
are you going? You a homer? You going to go with the Detroit?
I do love the deep dish. Deep dish squares have been our home. Chicago, I got a buddy like I was Brian Brecker. He's from Chicago, so we hit up Illuminati's out there and stuff like that.
Dude,
Of
you
those
need like first of all,
four,
it takes like an hour to make those pizzas.
oh my gosh, you're waiting forever. You're
And
waiting
then when
forever.
you get it, you get a slice this big. I mean, it's like a piece of pie. You're full.
The Chicago style isn't my favorite. It's good. Don't get me
Too
wrong, but
much. It's too
it's my
much.
favorite.
Yeah.
To be honest, classic New York slice would probably be my favorite. And then Detroit, and then probably Chicago style.
Yeah. Well, don't leave out Buffalo there, even if it's
I haven't been there yet. I haven't been there and haven't tried it, so I can't comment on it.
you're going to get to Buffalo, whether it's playing AAA ball, and you're against the Bisons or whatever. But hopefully,
Yeah,
you are. I'm a Buffalo guy, and please, by all means, whenever you're here, call me and I'll take you out.
yeah,
Obviously, the chicken wings are the big thing, but
okay,
underrated on the pizza, man. Like the pizza,
yeah.
really, we have our own style of it, and it's really good. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Moose tracks, big moose
Moose
tracks, big
Tracks.
peanut butter cups, some fudge in there, some vanilla ice cream. Favorite.
I'll have to try that out. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
the peanut butter in the stuff, man. Even if it's
yeah,
just a little hint of it, the peanut butter makes it. That's the
absolutely.
Reese's Pieces versus M&M's argument. I'm a Pieces guy.
Oh, okay. PCs or M&Ms? Yeah, classic M&Ms don't do it for me.
See?
Probably go with the PCs.
Yeah, yeah. But you'll like the peanut butter M&Ms or the peanut
Oh
M&Ms.
yeah, peanut butter M&Ms are where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I agree with you there. That's good. Never asked this question before. I was thinking of some different things I could ask. You're stranded on an island, but you know you are going to eventually make it home, right? At some point.
Okay.
What are the two items you get to have on the island? This is a tough question.
Oh yeah, it is.
It can either show that you're like, really vain, you want a mirror, or you go in pure survival mode, So what are two items? I'll give you three items. Trent, for
Okay,
you,
three items.
I'm going to give you three items. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll probably go with some golf clubs. If that
Back
counts
them
as
into the
one.
water.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
you
I'll
busy.
just go
That's actually a
driving range
phenomenal answer. Yeah, yeah.
in the water.
Keep your
'Cause
sanity by hitting the balls. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It gives me something to do. I'd probably bring, well, to cook my food, I'd probably bring an air fryer.
Man.
If there's electricity out there, I'll bring an air fryer.
Hold on, an electric air fryer.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
no, it's solar
Battery
powered.
powered.
Solar powered.
Yep, yep.
Right.
And then my third thing, what would I bring? Probably just a beach chair. Just sit on the. Hopefully, there's a beach on that stranded island. And just
All
kind
right.
of enjoy the vibes until I go home.
Those are solid answers, man. There's no bad answers, but those are solid, especially when you got, 1 second to think about each one.
Yeah.
And you definitely have some pop in that bat, man. It's one of those things, low center of gravity or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
what do you? I'll ask you this, and it's kind of to me, I don't believe that there's any. Like, however someone's stance is, I don't critique it too much. I coach travel for my kids and stuff like
Sure.
that. I'm a
Yeah.
diehard baseball guy, you know what I mean? And I played when I was younger, whatever. And some people they'll critique the stances, and if you're leaning too much this way or this way. I'm a guy, whatever works for you, right? As long as you're not going to hurt yourself swinging, and as long as it's like, I think a lot of the kids always try to emulate Aaron Judge or whoever it is. Here, what's your take on that for kids and kind of their stances and things like that?
So yeah, I think whatever works,
Yeah,
works. I don't think there's one way to hit. There's not a cookie cutter way to hit on the bat. So I've always been a smaller bat guy. Actually, I swung a 32-inch bat in college, and then when I got here, I swung a 32 and a half, and now I'm swinging a 33. But yeah, honestly, like I think it also depends on, you got to know what kind of player you are. Some guys are going to have more power. Some guys are going to be
Correct.
better contact. In my sense, I'm better at contact than more power. So I want a bat that I can control the barrel with to manipulate in the zone.
You have pretty beefy legs,
Oh,
so
thank you. Thank you.
I
I appreciate
well, yeah,
that.
you probably work out with them, whatever. I mean, but I do often say to these kids too, it's so important. Lower body is so important. You know what I mean? To get that leg drive in. What's your take on that? If you were going to coach, a kid with his swing, whatever, would you emphasize using the lower body?
Yeah, it depends on, a lot of different things because I do give lessons when I'm at home. So that's
Okay. Okay.
all
Awesome.
so yeah, so I work with honestly kids from age 5 to high school. But yeah, honestly, like I like to work from the ground up. Like if you got a firm foundation, like doesn't really matter what your upper body's doing. If you're not using your lower half or you're not in time with it, then it's tough to get the upper half involved as well. So yeah, I start from the bottom up. Are my feet in the right spot? Am I wide enough or am I narrow enough, depending on what type of hitter you are? But yeah, I focus on that a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. One of my favorite things to do, with the boys or is just to go and watch BPs, and just watch
Yeah.
guys when tossing them in to kind of and while everybody else is watching them, hit meteors into the third deck or outside of the park, I'm watching the form, I'm watching the body, I'm watching because you see the good ones who are consistently good year by year. They don't change much. The guys slumping or doing this, then like, oh, I had to reteach, relearn how to hit a little bit. And, what's interesting too, even someone, at your level, you're a pro ball player, and you'll look at, some comments or something, it'll say, well, I kind of had to really work on my swing or reteach my swing, whatever, when it's something you've been using your whole career. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't believe in complete reinvention of swing, especially because if you made it to pro ball, you got here for a reason.
Yeah.
So like your swing is good enough. Like obviously you're gonna make some small adjustments, you're gonna trim some fat here and there,
Yeah.
but I mean you're not doing a complete 180 with your swing. So
you're about as real as they come. You're a humble dude, and I wish you absolutely nothing but the best as far as the the career progresses here. I'm excited to watch and kind of see the trajectory and see how everything goes, bro.
yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and awesome getting to like view your channel and stuff like that as I did some research with you and whatnot.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah,
I truly, that means a lot to me, man. I really do appreciate you taking the time, man. We'll keep in touch for sure.
absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too. Take care.